What if you found a lost wallet? One that didn't just hold money, but a family secret. What if returning it meant stepping into a world of corporate power struggles, betrayal, and a legacy built on lies? What would you do with the man who owned that wallet? Grant Harrison, a millionaire CEO, needed your help to fight for everything he had left. And what if, in the process, you discover that honesty could rewrite not just one life, but two? Stay tuned to find out how a single act of kindness turned one waitress's life upside down, unraveling secrets that could destroy a dynasty and create a new beginning. The rain hammered Joe's Diner, a 24-hour relic tucked in Manhattan's gritty underbelly. The neon sign flickered like a dying star, casting eerie shadows across the chipped linoleum. At 2:37 a.m., Amelia Reed, 27, leaned against the counter, her apron a canvas of grease and coffee stains, her eyes heavy from the graveyard shift. Her feet screamed, her back ached, but she kept moving, wiping tables, refilling salt shakers, anything to quiet the panic of next week's rent looming like a guillotine. The diner was nearly deserted, save for a trucker muttering into his coffee and a flickering fluorescent light that buzzed like a trapped insect. Sweeping under a corner booth, Amelia's broom snagged on something wedged beneath the seat. She crouched, her fingers brushing a soft, luxurious object, a leather wallet, embossed with subtle GH her heart skipped. She glanced around. The trucker was engrossed in his phone, the cook dozing in the back. She could pocket it. No one would know. The temptation flared sharp and fleeting, but Amelia's moral compass snapped it shut. That wasn't her. Never had been. She opened the wallet, expecting cash or cards. Instead, she found a single photograph, a family under a glowing Christmas tree, a man in his 30s with piercing green eyes, a woman with a warm smile, and a young boy clutching a toy train. Beside it, a black business card with gold lettering. Grant Harrison, CEO, Harrison Enterprises. Amelia's breath caught. Harrison Enterprises was a colossus, its skyscrapers dominating Manhattan's skyline. On the card's back, in elegant script, "Call me if found. Trust matters. GH. No cash. No cards. Just a photo and a cryptic note. Why leave a wallet so bare, yet so personal?" The question gnawed at her, sparking a flicker of unease. This wasn't just a lost item. It felt like a key to a door she wasn't sure she wanted to open. Still, she slipped it into her apron, resolving to return it after her shift. As she resumed sweeping, the rain seemed to whisper warnings against the glass. By 9 a.m., Amelia stood before the glass fortress of Harrison Enterprises, its reflective surface mirroring her frayed thrift store coat and scuffed sneakers. She felt like an ant before a mountain, but the wallet in her hand gave her purpose. She marched into the marble-clad lobby, where the receptionist's icy stare sized her up like a stray. "I'm here to return this," Amelia said, holding up the wallet. "It belongs to Grant Harrison." The receptionist's eyes widened, and within minutes, Amelia was whisked to the 60th floor. The elevator ride felt like a voyage to another world, each ding amplifying her nerves. The doors opened to an office vast enough to dwarf her apartment, with floor-to-ceiling windows framing Manhattan's glittering chaos. At its center stood Grant Harrison. He was taller than she'd imagined, with sharp cheekbones and eyes that seemed to peel back her defenses. His tailored suit screamed wealth, but there was a weariness in his stance, a crack in the polished facade. "You found my wallet," he said, his voice low, tinged with surprise. Most people wouldn't have bothered. Amelia handed it over, her fingers brushing his. "It's the right thing." Grant opened the wallet, his gaze lingering on the photo. A shadow of pain crossed his face. "It's all I have left of them." He didn't elaborate, and Amelia, sensing the weight, didn't press. Instead, she watched as he tucked the business card away, his eyes locking onto hers. Why return it? No cash, no reward. A tabloid would have paid thousands for Waitress finds CEO's wallet. "I don't work that way," Amelia said, holding his gaze. Grant studied her, as if she were a riddle he couldn't crack. Then unexpectedly he smiled, a real one, not the polished kind CEOs wield. "Come to a gala tonight," he said, pulling a gold-embossed invitation from his desk. "As my guest. I owe you." Amelia's stomach twisted. A gala? She was a waitress, not a socialite. Her world was diner grease, not champagne flutes. But something in Grant's eyes, gratitude, curiosity, or something deeper, made her nod. Okay, just this once. The Waldorf-Storia's ballroom was a dazzling maze of crystal chandeliers, silk gowns, and tuxedos that cost more than Amelia's yearly rent. In a borrowed navy dress with a frayed hem, she felt like a sparrow among peacocks. Grant introduced her as a woman who saved my day, and the crowd murmured, some intrigued, others dismissive. Their stares prickled her skin, but Grant stayed close, his presence a quiet anchor. Then she met Patrick Hayes, a board member with a smile sharp as a switchblade. The honest waitress, he said, his voice smooth but venomous. This world doesn't reward honesty, Miss Reed. It chews it up. His words landed like a warning shot, but Amelia held her ground, offering a tight nod. Later, over champagne, Grant confided in her, his voice low. Patrick's trying to oust me from my own company. He's got half the board in his pocket, and my mother's illness isn't helping. She's the only one who can sway the undecided votes, but she's too sick to fight. His vulnerability caught Amelia off guard, stirring memories of her own loss. Parents gone in a car crash at 16, leaving her to scrape by alone. I'm sorry, she said softly, but you're not alone, Grant. He looked at her, surprised. You barely know me. Doesn't mean I can't care. That night, a spark ignited. Over the next weeks, their friendship bloomed. Coffee dates turned into late-night talks at Grant's penthouse, where Amelia shared her dream of becoming a chef, and Grant opened up about his mother, Eleanor, battling cancer. He admired her resilience. She saw past his wealth to man carrying a world of grief. But Patrick Hayes loomed like a gathering storm, his schemes tightening around Grant's empire. One evening, while helping Grant sort through files for a board presentation, Amelia found a sealed envelope marked private. Curiosity overpowered her caution. Inside was a letter from Eleanor, dated 18 months ago, warning of Patrick's ambition to seize Harrison Enterprises. It hinted at a family secret that could destroy everything. Amelia's pulse raced. What was Grant hiding? She confronted him, holding the letter. What's this, Grant? What's Patrick holding over you? His face paled. You weren't supposed to see that. Then tell me, she pressed, her voice firm. If we're friends, I deserve the truth. Grant sank into a chair, rubbing his temples. My father, he built this company on lies. Bribes, offshore accounts, falsified records. Patrick knows and is threatening to leak it. If he does, the company collapses and my mother's legacy dies with it. Amelia's mind reeled. Grant wasn't just fighting for his job. He was guarding a house of cards. Why hide it? She asked. Why not expose it yourself, control the narrative? Grant's laugh was bitter. And destroy everything my mother worked for? She's dying, Amelia. This company is her heart. Mid-story question. If you were Amelia, would you stand by someone whose family empire was built on deceit, risking your own safety in a world of corporate sharks? Or would you walk away, knowing the truth could ruin you both? Amelia chose to stay. She couldn't abandon Grant, not when he was fighting for his mother's memory. But Patrick's moves grew bolder. At a board meeting, he presented forged emails suggesting Grant had siphoned company funds. The board teetered, and Grant's position hung by a thread. Amelia, observing from the back, noticed a flaw. The email's timestamps predated Grant's tenure as CEO. She whispered her finding to Grant, who demanded a forensic audit. The board agreed, and Patrick's plan began to unravel. The danger escalated. One night, as Amelia left the diner, a black SUV trailed her through the rain-slicked streets. A man in a dark suit stepped out, Patrick's enforcer. Stay out of Harrison's business, he growled, his hand brushing a holster under his jacket, or you'll lose more than your job. Fear clawed at her, but Amelia refused to cower. She told Grant, who hired a security detail, but the threat lingered like a noose. Eleanor's condition worsened, and Amelia visited her in the hospital, bringing homemade soup. The older woman gripped her hand, her voice faint but fierce. You're good for Grant, but trust carefully. Someone close is not what they seem. The words haunted Amelia, planting seeds of doubt. A traitor in Grant's circle? She watched everyone, his advisors, his driver, his assistant Claire. Her suspicions fell on Claire, Grant's loyal assistant of 5 years. Claire was too perfect, always lingering, always listening. One night, Amelia followed her, heart pounding as Claire slipped into an alley and handed a USB drive to one of Patrick's aides. The betrayal cut deep. Amelia told Grant, who was devastated but strategic. He fed Claire false information about a merger, and when Patrick presented it to the board, his credibility crumbled. Claire was fired, but the wound of betrayal lingered, eroding Grant's trust. As the final board meeting loomed, Amelia received an anonymous text. Check the diner's lost and found. You're not alone. Her gut churned. Was this a trap? She returned to Joe's diner, digging through the dusty lost and found box. Buried beneath scarves and sunglasses was a flash drive labeled EH, Eleanor Harrison. Her hand shook as she plugged it into her laptop. It contained audio files, recordings of Patrick bribing board members, dated weeks ago. Eleanor, despite her illness, had been gathering evidence from her hospital bed. Amelia rushed to Grant, playing the recordings. His eyes widened. My mother, she never stopped fighting for me. But the files hinted at another secret, a final truth about Grant's father that Eleanor had kept even from him. Amelia hesitated. Should she tell Grant, risking his focus before the biggest fight of his life, or keep it hidden, knowing it could haunt him later? Days before the board meeting, Amelia received another anonymous message. Meet me at Pier 17. Midnight. Come alone. Against her better judgment. She went, her security detail discreetly trailing. At the pier, shrouded in fog, stood a woman in her 60s, her face weathered but familiar. It was Margaret, the woman from the Wallet's photo, Grant's mother-in-law, presumed dead after a boating accident years ago. Amelia's blood ran cold. I didn't die, Margaret said, her voice trembling. I left because I discovered the truth about Grant's father. He wasn't just corrupt. He was involved in something darker. Extortion. Threats. I couldn't stay. She handed Amelia a ledger detailing illicit deals tied to Patrick's family. Evidence that could bury him. Give this to Grant. He deserves to know. Amelia's mind raced. This changed everything. Grant believed his wife and son had died. Now, only his son was gone, and Margaret had been in hiding. Should she tell him, shattering his grief, or use the ledger to defeat Patrick without opening old wounds? The boardroom was a cauldron of tension, every seat filled, every eye on Grant. Patrick, desperate, played his trump card. He exposed Grant's father's crimes, expecting to topple him. But Grant, bolstered by Amelia's courage, stood tall. My father made mistakes, he said, voice steady. But I'm not him. I'm here to rebuild. He played Eleanor's recordings, exposing Patrick's bribes. Then Amelia, uninvited but resolute, stepped forward with the ledger. Patrick's family profited from those same crimes, she said, her voice clear. He's no savior, he's a hypocrite. The board erupted. Amelia's words, raw and unpolished, swayed the undecided. When she revealed Margaret's survival, handing Grant the ledger, his face crumpled, not from defeat, but from the weight of truth. The board voted. Grant retained his position, and Patrick was ousted, his empire of lies collapsing. 18 months later, Amelia stood in a sunlit kitchen, her chef's coat embroidered with her name. Grant's scholarship had transformed her dream into reality, and her dishes were earning accolades at culinary school. The ring on her finger, a simple band they'd chosen together, caught the light as she chopped herbs for their engagement dinner. Grant, now a reformed CEO leading Harrison Enterprises with transparency, joined her, stealing a sprig of parsley with a grin. Their wedding was intimate, held in a garden overlooking the Hudson. Eleanor, in remission, walked Grant down the aisle, her eyes shining with pride. Margaret, slowly rebuilding her bond with Grant, sat in the front row, a quiet testament to healing. Amelia's co-workers from Joe's diner cheered, their presence grounding her in her roots. As they exchanged vows, Amelia reflected on the wallet that had sparked it all. A single act of honesty had led her to betrayal, danger, and revelations proving that integrity could rewrite even the darkest stories. Grant leaned in, whispering, "You didn't just save my wallet. Amelia, you saved my soul." She smiled, knowing they built something unbreakable, a partnership of trust, not wealth. The final secret about Grant's father? Amelia had told him after the board meeting, and together they'd faced it, choosing transparency over shadows. Margaret's return, though painful, had given Grant closure, and Eleanor's recovery sealed their new beginning. As they danced under the stars, Amelia knew this was more than a happy ending. It was a testament to the power of small acts. A lost wallet had opened a door to a life transformed, proving that honesty could light even the darkest paths. If this tale of courage and redemption gripped you, please like and subscribe for more stories that stir the heart. Your support fuels these journeys.